So much major information continues to come out. It's unbelievable. Now, we have this article here on Ledger Insights. They dropped 2 bombs. Number one, they polled even more. Remember, we covered something recently where another institution did a poll. Now we have this poll. Actually, there's 2 polls mixed up in here. But what they're doing now is giving us information to work with so we can figure things out for ourselves. Not only do they release some good information about tokenization. When we're talking tokenization, remember, we're talking trillions of dollars. This is major stuff because when they talk about tokenization, notice in this article, they talk about mainstream. They combine those 2 together. We're hearing a lot about mainstream, crypto going mainstream, along with tokenization, which means tokenization in mass. That's not something we've seen before. We've seen little driplets of tokenization, like some of the real estate offerings on Algorand and small tokenizations of gold with the gold cards and buying that type of stuff on exchanges like Uphold, but nothing that would rival mainstream crypto push, where that flood of capital, those trillions start coming in. Nothing like that. That's what they're talking about here. This is why it's important to go over this type of information. Now, the first thing that they cover in here, and now we know, first, let me say this. Now we know why. After reading this article, you will know why Christopher Waller said it will take time. He said that himself. You watched the video, didn't you? He said, give us time. Well, I don't have to give you anything, Mr. Waller, but I understand what you're saying. It's going to take time, right? You can't change the entire world system overnight. It just doesn't happen that way. No matter what people want, these utility coins, these bank coins, what they're setting up to do it was always going to take time. They're trying to change an integral part of the entire world. Everything changes after this. And they're just one mechanism of an entire new system that's coming about that we're witnessing being born. But if this all goes to plan, of course, that means trillions of dollars flowing in, quadrillions over time, that whoever is involved in this, their lives will change forever. And believe you me, right now, more than ever, a lot of people need their lives changed for the better, for sure. But wait, what are they talking about here? Because all of this, what they're talking about equals lots and lots of value, not financial advice, just my humble opinion. But at a part here where they're talking about what assets to tokenize, they asked all of these big companies, I believe over 100 of them, what to tokenize first. What do they want tokenized first? Then they asked them about the timelines. How long do they think this is going to take? This is crazy information to have right now, at a time where things are looking pretty good, actually, in crypto right now, aren't they? Looking pretty good. But here are the promising groups, according to these institutions that were polled by Northern Trust and State Street. So this is serious business. So they want to tokenize commodities in mass. Remember, we've only seen this done in tiny allotments. Then they want real estate. 53% said they want commodities and real estate tokenized en masse. That's a lot of value. Keep in mind, once again, you look at even the chart here, it's talking about crypto going mainstream. All right. So they want crypto to go mainstream as all of this is being tokenized. But why? Obviously, they want all that value to come in. They want crypto to be utilized to its max. What does that do to the price of anything that's going to be involved with real world asset tokenization? There's no way these prices can stay low. They can't. And then when you think about it like that, then some of these protocols, some of these companies that are talking real bullish right now, like Solana, like Chainlink, they look even more bullish. So now when you start to see these big institutions, I can't remember which one it was the other day, talking about Solana reaching, one said Solana reaching $500, something like that. And another one said 1,000, somewhere around 1,000. Of course, they're just throwing out numbers. But what I take from that is not the numbers. I don't care about these numbers these people put out. But I do care about the energy. That means they're bullish on it. That's what's important. They're bullish. That means if they're bullish, they're going to put their money in, right? If their people are bullish, their people are going to put their money in. Now, that's what's important to me. That's what I take from that. Sometimes you got to look past the superficial. Sometimes it's something deep there underneath the surface. Wait. So 53% said they want to tokenize commodities and real estate. Wait a minute. Followed by 36%. Listen to this. Members, people in the members only section, this should really make your eyebrows raise. 36% then said money market funds. Boom. We all know what's been happening, right? Those who know, we know what's been happening. Don't we? Remember what I said in years to come. Remember what I've been saying. If that moves, if that value moves, which has only been growing, those regular people that don't know what we know, they're going to be shocked. 36% of these big organizations want to tokenize, which means they come that value comes to chain. So you have, let me jump off that because I don't want to give too much away. You want to know more about that? Watch the last 10 videos in the members only section, right? Because each one is covering a lot of good information, and then you'll catch up on what I'm talking about here. But you got money market funds, huge right now. It's only going to get bigger. Commodities are going, listen, let me tell you something, not financial advice, just my humble opinion. Commodities right now look like they're going to go through the roof. Gold, I know it's hard for you to believe, but remember when we came into gold and it was super low price and people told us gold wasn't going to go up? Then it went up. They told us again, oh, it's going to go down. It's not going to go up. And it went up again. I'm telling you now, gold has more room to explode. Silver's right there. Why do you think you see all these companies coming out right now telling you silver's looking bullish? They're telling you, you know something is coming. When the big dogs start saying, hey, well, this thing that they've been suppressing, now they're saying it's looking bullish and silver can go up. Silver's looking super bullish. I'm going to throw platinum in there. Platinum's looking bullish right now as well. For a future, I'm talking about long term, folks. So commodities are going to increase significantly. They know that. They want commodities in there en masse. They want commodities tokenized at the same time as crypto going mainstream. Remember, all of this is on top of the, how can I say? I don't want to say the speculative amounts, but let's just use that. But the amounts that the people have been putting in crypto already, that's going to remain there. The people are not going anywhere. They've been making money from crypto. They're going to want to continue to make money from crypto. That's there. So everything else is on top of that. What does this do to that price when you have trillions coming in? But wait a minute. We didn't get to the good part yet. It says here, so 36% said followed by money market funds. Now, in that second part to this article, and actually, my apologies. So the Northern Trust poll, I believe, was 100 institutions. I believe that's what they said. Yep, 100. It says they polled 100 investment professionals. It doesn't get more reputable than this. They're literally telling people the money is coming, the value is coming, but they're also going to say something else. Now, hold on a minute. Now, wait a minute. And then the State Street, it says State Street published their survey. That was 300 investment institutions. So we're getting two different allotments of information corroborating to us that the future for utility coins, the future for bank coin companies is extremely bright. And of course, Bitcoin is going to have its piece. It's just the way that it is. But then they asked them about the timeline, folks. Now, that's what's really interesting here. So now, remember, this is aside from cross-border payments that might go mainstream, and they may flip the switch on that cross-border, B2B cross-border payments, interbank payments, which they might flip the switch on in the next 2 to 3 years. So this is separate from that. So when it comes to RWA and mainstream adoption of crypto, when it comes to RWA, real-world asset tokenization, which obviously must coincide with a media push. You can't have everybody tokenizing everything and they don't even know that it exists. They don't even know that dApps exist. They don't know how to use them. It's not, you have to have an advertising run, a massive advertising push, period. You have to. All right. That's how you get it out there for companies and people to know that it's there for them to use. So now here's the numbers, folks. Here's the timelines for RWA, all those trillions, maybe even quadrillions in the future. If they're really going to have everything on chain, DLT dominant, this is what they've been saying. Now, 58% believes that, wait, let me get this right. I'm going to get this right for you. Anticipated time to digital assets becoming mainstream. Remember, this was all about tokenization, all right? 58% said 10 or more years, 10 or more. I would beg to differ with that. Like I said, we have to look at these things separately. I look at B2B and interbank payments separately. That's going to be something that could take off in the next 2-3 years. They've been working on for a long time. Here they want all this tokenization of everything. That may take a little longer. I don't think it's going to take 10 years, but 58% of them are saying 10 or more years. Now, when I look at that number, and we're going to get to another number in a moment, when I look at that number, I say to myself, could they really believe that? Sure. Could they also be setting us up and say, oh, well, 10 years to keep us in a little longer while everything peaks and they, reap the benefits of that and sell? Everything goes off in 6 to 7 years. And then, they're telling us 10 or more years. So we hold a little bit longer using a lot of the people as exit liquidity. Is that making sense, right? I question that. Are you trying to put this number out there knowing we will see it? I always question this because now I just find it peculiar that this last 2 weeks, they're coming out with all this information. So, and I'm very, very careful with these big institutions. They're cold-hearted. They care about no one. All right. So they will, they'll get you. They'll get you. You'll get got. For lack of a better, remember people used to say that a long time ago? You'll get got, right? So I don't want to get got. I don't play with these folks. So no, I don't believe 10 or more years. I say about 6 or 7 years to have everything, all as at its max capacity of tokenization. Yeah, I say 6 to 7 years. And have them trillion flowing in, give or take. We'll see. But here, and once again, that's at max capacity. Over the years, you're still going to have huge amounts of value flowing in. And that's an estimate. Huge amounts of value flowing in next year, the year after that, until it reaches max capacity. It's not like it goes from here 0 and then just hits 10. No, it goes from 0 to 1 to 2. So you're going to see that value flooding in over the years. And a lot of these chains are benefiting from that. Right, which is why these companies are so bullish. So then we get to the next number here, 18%. Now pay attention to this. See, I'm thinking more along the lines of this when you're talking about maximum capacity, the maximum amount of tokenization where everything is flowing across chain. Yeah, I say about 6 to 7 years, 5 to 6, something like that. But this number is a little closer to what I'm thinking. It says 18%. I wish they would tell us who that 18% was. 18% says 5 to 9 years. Concentrate on the 5. Mick, why concentrate on the 5? Because that's what I'm looking at. I hope for the best. I'm not pessimistic. Like, you can look at the 9, sure. All right, sure. But I'd rather have the 5. You rather have the 5? Okay. So I can only be me. I'm looking at that 5 and hoping that 5 I'm right. Now I say 6 to 7 first. It could be anywhere. It could be 5 to 6. I'll take the 5. I want things to happen as quickly as possible. We don't have life to waste. We don't. But also what this means is that over the long term, crypto, the top cryptos, like I said, are super bullish. Not bullish, super bullish. And they know it. They know it. They're building on it. They're using it. They're planning. They're having meetings. They're getting bold. They're not doing all of this for nothing. They're not doing all this for nothing. They're buying Bitcoin at $60,000. They're buying Bitcoin at $55,000. You think they're in here to make a tiny little piece of money? No, they're not. So 18% believe 5 to 9 years is all it'll take. Wait a minute. Look at this. There's another number. I wasn't even paying attention to this one. 9%. If this doesn't make you bullish, I don't know. I'm not here to make you bullish. I'm just saying, like, this is how I feel when I read this. I feel bullish. So if it doesn't make you bullish, I don't know what will. 9% now. Who's this 9%? 9% believe 3 to 4 years. Now, that's an interesting. Numbers do tell a good story sometimes. If 3 to 4%, if 9% believe 3 to 4 years, there must be a reason that they believe it. Could this be the 9% that are taking meetings with the Bitcoin companies, working with them, making this big push? There's a big push going on behind the scenes. You know it. I know it. There's a lot of you are researchers. You made the phone calls like I did. Yeah, I know you did. I know, because they say, like, oh, so are you associated with this person that called us the other day? No, I'm not. So now that tells me somebody's calling. So we know a lot of the same info. There's a big push going on behind the scenes. Yes. Okay. If what the companies are telling us is true, because they can lie, right? Doesn't mean because someone says something, we have to believe them. No, we don't. All right. So now I'm just talking to researchers out there because this is stuff that we do. So now, is this the 9% that's taking those meetings with a lot of these bank coin companies, a lot of these DLT companies, building, exchanging data with them in real time, every day, trying to push this as fast as possible? Is this them? Because if so, and they believe that it can get finished in 3 to 4 years, there's the possibility it hits that target of 3 to 4 years. But now think about at your companies that you've been running, when you have a lot of good employees and you have good leadership and you're pushing really hard, a lot of the time we finish things before deadline. Right? A lot of times we're finishing things before schedule. So is it possible? Maybe it hits 3 to 4 years, but what happens? It hits 2 years and then everything just goes boom. 2 years, 2.5, let's say 2.5 years from now, but 2.5 years from now, I'm trying my best to really, really push the timeline, but be reasonable, but consider all possibilities. Yeah, they could finish ahead of time. If that 9% right there, right? Because they don't say who these institutions are. Wait a minute. How did they phrase it? This is the Northern Trust, right? Wait, it just says a very recent London poll of 100 investment professionals with 34% already investing in digital assets or planning soon. Why would they say that? Why would 9% is significant? That's almost 10%. 9% is significant. 10% people usually like, oh yeah, 10% is significant. If you get to that 9%, it's pretty much 10, just round up. Okay, so it's significant. Who are they? Why do they believe this? There has to be a reason. There's always a cause for every effect, and an effect for every cause. And for every cause, there is a because. There's a reason they think this. I'm going to continue to pay attention to that number there. Okay, so now I want to leave you with that. Look how they released this. They released this when so much chaos is going on in the world. They could have released this at any time. You know what's going on in the United States right now. A lot of people are not going to have time to look over this and read this right now. There's a lot of chaos. I'll just leave it at that. And I hope everybody out there is safe and everybody's doing well. All right. Be safe. No, that's the most I could say here on the channel. Now, so we have that. And just once again, let me close out with, remember who wants to go big when it comes to real world asset tokenization. You got Ripple in there. You've had Algorand in there for years, right? You got Stellar in there. Quant is in there. All right. You have Solana in the game. No doubt about it. I think Chainlink is going to be. Remember, Chainlink just had that article come out and they were talking about real world asset tokenization. They're going to have their slice. These top crypto companies are not playing games. They're very serious and they're confident. And there's a reason for that. Super bullish. But wait, let's go here. I'm going to skip I had an XRP article outright, but this really the first article has a lot to do with XRP because Ripple and SBI want to go heavy with real world asset tokenization. That's why I cover it. I wouldn't cover it if it wasn't going to possibly bring in a ton of value, make my pockets explode, and I wouldn't even cover it. So now look at this right here. Speaking of commodities, we got to jump to this right here. We've been talking about this. This article right here is titled, well, I had a dollar article, but maybe we'll go back to that. BRICS countries, Russia and China driving gold price to historic highs amid push to ditch dollar. This is coming from the Bank of France. Wait a minute. Over the summer, remember all those article writers were telling everybody, oh, well, China slowed down their buying. So I don't know. Gold might go down. Remember that? And I went against the grain like I always do because I'm a rebel like that. I think for myself. And I told you what I said. Don't worry about that because since I do research, I saw that, yeah, they slowed down their buying, but also they had a representative come out and tell you that they would come back later and continue to do buying. They're just taking a break. Remember I told you? And what did they do? They came back. They continue buying. Look at gold now. Look at what the article writers are saying now. They were wrong. Not to say everybody's wrong at some point. So you can't be right about everything. But when you say something like that, come on, just do a little bit more research. And they would have saw. I mean, unless they just, that's their news. Like they want to sell negative news. That could be it also. They knew this was going to, gold was going to make a comeback. Not even really a comeback, but like explode again. They knew that, but they just went the other way just to sell some news. That's possible. Russia and China's desire to ditch the dollar is fueling the price of gold, according to the Bank of France. Bank of France is very, very, very biased. They're not telling the entire truth. See, they want to isolate it to Russia and China so that the entirety of the world who reads this, anybody who reads this, doesn't understand that all of the central banks have been buying at record rates over the last few years. A lot of regular people have been buying at record rates. I know I was at one time. I feel like I'm comfortable now. But they were buying, everybody was buying gold that was in the know, that wants to protect their value, but gold and silver. I might dabble a little bit of platinum here and there. I haven't had platinum in a while. Sold my platinum. But they don't want the people to know that because they don't want you in. Oh man, Mick, why you say that? You don't have to say it, but it's true. Those people at the top, I've been around a lot of these people at the top of these big businesses and companies in the entertainment world. I've done a thing or two and I know how they think, I know how they act, I know how they look at regular people, and I didn't like it. That's why I stopped dealing with that industry for a long time. I haven't dealt with that industry. They don't want regular people being as rich as them, living like them, living next to them. They don't want them coming up to them and shake their hands. They don't like it. So they don't want you getting too bullish on certain things. This is my humble opinion from my experience. Maybe your experience is different. It might be different. This is why I believe they spread so much negative news about cryptos that are super bullish, commodities that are super bullish. They don't want you getting too bullish. They don't want you getting wealthy like they are, surpassing them. Their status is maintained by keeping others down. But anyway, it's my humble opinion. So let's get back to this here. In a new report, the central bank notes the price of the precious metal has risen to new all-time highs, despite global outflows in gold exchange traded funds and risk aversion on the financial markets amid the Fed's tight monetary policy over the last 2 years. Citing data from the World Gold Council, the bank says demand for gold has been led by Russia and China, citing, quote, diversification. Really, like we could rephrase that. It's been led by the idea that I'm just being real with you. All financial systems right now are in jeopardy. There is risk of massive bank runs around the world and massive collapses globally. We know about the thousands of banks in the United States that are at risk. We know it. We read the report. The report is still on the channel, members only section. If you want to, I don't remember which video, you got to go back and you can find it. Trust me, it's still posted. Nothing removed. We know about that. Factual, right? Factual. That company does that for a living. So then we also know about the banks in China being, at risk. We know Japan is not doing well with their financial system. I think China had to do some stimulus type of thing recently, or they're thinking about it. We know that Europe is having massive problems. Germany was in recession a long time ago. Listen, around the world, the financial systems are getting burned to the ground. I believe it's because they want to implement this new financial system, so they're just letting the natural collapse happen. But that's why these institutions and people are buying gold, is to protect your value. And if you bought gold when it was low, your value is sitting pretty even, made some money on top of that, not financial advice. That's why. It's going to keep going up. It's going to continue to rise, especially with the banks doing so badly when it comes to publicity. Their publicity has been terrible. The people are going to continue to run other things. They're going to go to money market funds and gold. That's where it's going to go. That, and maybe they use an NBFI for a cash sweep account. Maybe at the lowest level, maybe people might use a cash sweep account. Get some yield. They're definitely not going to be leaving their money inside of a savings account. That's for sure. So gold, silver, and a few other commodities looking super bullish, in my humble opinion. I'm not even going to say commodities. A few other precious metals looking super bullish right now. Right. So now let's move on here. All right. I could have sworn I had some Bitcoin. Oh, wait, we have some Bitcoin news. And I had an article here. We're going to have to, like I said, I may have to make a members only video. There's a significant article I do want to cover. Now, that I'm not going to be able to cover this video. Upcoming quarter looking solid for Bitcoin and altcoins, says analyst Kevin Svensson. All right, Mr. Svensson, let's hear what you have to say, sir. Sounds like you're going to say something that's music to my ears, right? And I do believe, Bitcoin can do good, but once again, there's going to be volatilities. I believe it's going to be artificial volatility, no doubt about it. And I think that a lot of it's going to be psychological conditioning. It'll go up a little bit and then it's going to come down. People are going to panic as usual. They want that conditioning in the people to be worried and be panicked at the drop of a hat. Bitcoin price go down. All of a sudden, the fear and greed index plummets. They want that conditioning there, I believe, so that When the real bull run pops off and everything explodes like in 2021. Now, that was a bull run. Everything going up at the same time, led by Bitcoin. I think they know that's coming. But before that time, I think they'll bring down that price artificially. You'll see, listen, we don't see a whole lot of bullish mainstream news like that. But when the time comes, you definitely will see negative mainstream news when they want to press that price down. They can use it both ways. A double-edged sword can cut both ways. It can defend or it can be an offensive weapon. So now, you can defend or it can be an offensive tool, right? It can go both ways. So I think that they'll use it that way. I'm going by what I've seen before. And then they bring that price down before the explosion, right? So they can get a little bit more and then ride that price up. They know the regular people will buy on the way up. I think that's part of the plan. I do. It's simple, and that's why they use it. You keep it simple. My coach used to tell me, he said, Mick, you keep things simple. You stick to the basics, and a lot of entities at the top keep it basic. According to Svensson, the altcoin market cap appears to be repeating a pattern witnessed in the last cycle, when it took 157 weeks before igniting a massive breakout rally. Quote, the altcoin market cap has been consolidating for the entire year. In the beginning of 2024, the altcoins had a huge run into March, gave up all of their gains, and now have started to recover. The altcoin, I think I saw something today. Things were looking pretty good. I think XRP went up, then it went down, of course. But, I think I saw Songbird go up. Like 10, did Songbird go up 10%? A few things looked like they were in the green and they were looking good earlier today. I don't know what they're doing right now by the time the video comes out. Around 10 weeks from now, we're going to be breaking to lower highs. Total altcoin market cap of 820 billion, which means a lot of altcoins have tremendous growth coming from now into November. What about Bitcoin? Come on now, talk that Bitcoin talk to me. Looking at Bitcoin, Svensson believes Bitcoin is on the verge of reaching a new all-time high. That's all you had to say, sir. You have my ear and my respect. That's all you had to say. I'm here to make some money. A new all-time high after the S&P 500 index hit a record high earlier this week. Quote, S&P all-time highs always precede Bitcoin all-time highs. There's never been a new Bitcoin all-time high without the S&P doing it first. So it's looking good, guys. I mean, everything seems to be lining up. I like how this person talks to us like we're people and not like we're robots or something, like he's doing an interview. I like that. Like I keep saying, we are much closer to the all-time high than most people think. From current prices to the wick high of the all-time high at around $73,800, that's less than 14% away, unquote. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.